bring back Rafa and Joshi to get us ready for the next series. We got one more elimination best of 3 here today, and it is going to be none other than No Team and EGP. See if the evil is somewhat radiating somewhere from that first series, guys.
I was super shocked coming through, and I'm still just kind of reeling from the fact that Taco Gaming was able to take down EGA. I was so impressed with the way that both Doxa and Cozy were able to play, but now it's going to be EG Prodigies. They have to make up for the fact that their older brothers just got knocked out of the tournament. And this is a team that I have a lot of cool expectations riding on because they have something that a lot of other teams don't in the amateur scene. They get a scrim with the academy teams.
They do indeed. And I think that that's something that you don't get to see that kind of structure a lot of the times. And I think especially in amateur, it's by far hard to get only when you're in these sisters-like situations. And I think for that right reason, EGP have a good stable base for themselves to make runs through the lower bracket. And as we are going to bring up that bracket here to kind of show off a little bit of where we're at, we'll see that journey and the potential journey ahead of Evil Genius Prodigies or No Team, as the other team coming into here with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from the early on knockdown in the lower bracket.
The other big thing about these two teams too is that when you look at No Team and EGP, a lot of eyes are going to be, you might immediately go towards the jungle matchup because Griffin is probably one of our most hyped up current players from the amateur scene, but I actually am turning my eye towards Blaze and Leo because both of them share a similar story and how confidence really matters in determining how well they show up on the game day.
Exactly that. And I want to go ahead and bring up the No Team roster here, though, and talk a little bit more about No Team before we do get into the nitty gritty here, because I think that this team in specific itself with these wonderful pictures makes an argument for himself. We don't even need to talk about it. I mean, look at the artistry on that one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strong players coming out for this team.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, like, Blaze is really strong. Griffin is one of these people that we are looking at as potentially a future LCS star in a couple of years. And, of course, there's just a lot of, like, raw strength coming out from this roster. And they've been able to put together something pretty strong. I believe they won the second PGQ, the second Proving Grounds qualifiers, entirely based on what they were able to pull off.
Exactly. And on the other side of the rift, now we get to talk a little bit about the foreshadowing you were giving us earlier, Rafa. We do have EGP, who themselves, with that structure, with that stability, really need to show up tonight, especially with their sister team dropping out of the tournament.
They don't have the drawing buff that No Team has.
They don't.
Where's my little sketch?
Hey, okay. The thing I'm saying is going for them is Taco Tuesday, Taco Gaming. They got their buff, but there was the evil buff in there. But now that there's no Taco Gaming, it just means that they get the free level up, right? But in all actuality, it is talking about specific people and specific players. And one we do got to shine a little bit of a light on is Blaze, Joshi.
Yeah, Blaze has been one of these players coming in that has had a lot of opportunities to kind of level up quite a bit. And one of the things that I've been loving about watching him play and finding a lot of their success here against the Taco Gaming that we were seeing previously is just his ability to go bottom lane and look for all of these roams. And one of the things that we were missing out from him for a long time was he was missing a lot of confidence, right? He wasn't grinding solo queue as much. He wasn't necessarily looking for big opportunities to make a lot of plays, but now he's on the warpath again and is really looking good.
And paired alongside Griffin as well. I mean, these two make for a dynamic team already. This is pretty much the death squad. When Griffin is like, yo, I want to roam around their jungle. I want to invade. I want to get them. I want to get myself ahead. I want to look for kills. Blaze is like, yes, sir. I got you. Let's do it, homie. And they link up. I mean, they hold hands platonically, of course, and while just causing chaos on the rift.
That second point there on the fun facts, I can absolutely attest to. Blaze, thank you. This is the real
He's gotta
struggle.
be hot, man.
All right. But, you know, it is nice to get a little bit more information. Also, the more important fact, the fact that he hit Challenger at 17. Pretty impressive in that own fact. But now, Rafa, we do have on the other side somebody really at least crucial to the style that EGP bring to the table, and it is Leo.
Can we just talk about how Leo last week solo killed Ryoma in lane against Golden Guardians? That was huge. And Leo has been a mid laner who, for many people during the amateur scene last year, was under the radar. The last amateur team he was on was not even the first team for AoE Esports. He was on AoE quote-unquote randoms. That was the team name, but they were definitely no randoms. Leo is one of these players who, you know, a lot of people are just kind of sleeping on, but there are a few people who are noting and, you know, passing along like word of mouth, like, no, you guys have to look at Leo's VODs, man. He's actually really good, and if you give him a chance, you give him a little bit more resources, and this guy can develop into something even more than what he is currently at. And on Evil Genius's Prodigies, they definitely noted that, which is why they picked him up in the first place for the third team.
Yeah, he's another player that's also looking to find his confidence in the next couple of games and just make sure that they are able to continue playing, because he's one of these players that if he continues to grind, he can potentially look for an opportunity to make his way into Academy and potentially even LCS down the road. But for now, he's just got to get through this next game going up against another team in the lower bracket.
It is an elimination best of 3 yet again. The stakes do not get any easier as we make further progress in the Proving Grounds. We are ready for Champion Select. So, Rafa, Joshi, take it away.
He said it, Josh. He said it. I can take it away. Let's go. I have taken the draft. It is now in my
You've been waiting for this
Mizzell.
moment the entire time, so
Correct.
I'm very glad that you finally find your opportunity. You look like an anime character getting ready to go, so...
It's the sweater, too. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I really dig this.
I
This is a
know.
lot of cool designs.
Are those
I actually-
tacos
Where?
on your shirt?
Hold up.
They look
These
like-
things?
They look like tortilla chips.
Yeah, they look like chips. I got this because it reminded me of like old 90s like bowl kind of pattern
Yeah.
design, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you got the onesie that does the same thing, so, you know. Or,
yeah.
The romper. Romper.
Yeah,
so there we go.
it looks like the Jazz Solo Cup, dude. That outfit, totally, dude. I'm telling you.
Goes hard. Goes hard.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into this one, and again, we gotta kind of reel and come back into it, because I don't know about you, but this is the first day of Proving Grounds where I have had to do more than 4 games. We're gonna get at least 5 today coming through, and
Correct.
I'm just still so shocked. Like, those games were absolute bangers, and I'm expecting to see a lot more, because I said I was expecting EGA to 2-0 that series. I was expecting this one to go to 3 games.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, we haven't had an NA talent update in a while from Mr. Matthew Cuppy Samuelson, who had his birthday yesterday, so, you know, he
Happy
treated himself
birthday.
right. But if we get another one soon and he's asking me for a Rafa Pog moment, definitely the Taco game win.
Yep.
But for no team in Evil Genius's Prodigies, this is the series now. And just like the last series, this is tournament lives on the line. Whoever loses, they are knocked out of the lower bracket. The winner gets to advance on. They get to fight another day. And for no team in Evil Genius's Prodigies, there's so much that would mean for them if they are able to continue playing with Improving Grounds.
Yeah, and just to give a little bit of insight, right, we touched on this previously. Taco Gaming will be playing up against Dignitas Academy in their next lower bracket game, but the winner of this will be playing up against FlyQuest Academy, and this is going to be, you know, one of those teams that a lot of the amateur teams can really threaten significantly throughout the rest of the tournament. We see the Zaya coming through once again. Has become much more popular now that Jinxaria are not running the Rift every single time, and it really has been this lethality because it can kind of poke out and play from such a long range that it is incredibly safe. And so EGP, I talked to Daption actually over the weekend, and one of the things that he was saying about this team was that he feels as though EGP, man for man, is a stronger team than no team. But he feels that no team have been able to put it together a little bit better and look a bit more coordinated. And so we're going to see how well players like Faisal and Leo can really play up against Dragoon and Blaze, who are no pushovers.
There's some mighty fine, strong words coming from Dashing down.
He's
in
on the
support
range.
role. Yeah. Well, I know Mizzell has been looking to wrestle up some more critters here in the Proving Grounds, and if Daption keeps, if he matches the bite with the bark that he is definitely given over to no team, or I guess it would be the bite with the quack. You know, if we go back to what Mad
Quack
Magical
back.
was talking about in the quackbacks that we saw at the pre-show today, then yeah, I think it's an opportunity for Mizzell to look back on in another on the range segment, because those are fire.
Yeah.
Give me so much
Agreed.
life and joy.
But I want to turn back to the draft real quick, because you know what Leona backwards stands for, right, Mark? That's right. Engage. Gonna be looking for opportunities. I guarantee he is like hiding himself right now. Yep, there he is. That is not what I said earlier in the day. Think about it a little bit, and you can probably come to the same conclusion. But now, Leona has the engage tools to try and control a lot of what No Team are going to be trying to do throughout the rest of this game. And I love the fact that Jushuko willing to pick up the Renata and create a lot of pressure on EGP. You doing all right there, Mr. Arambide?
Fine. I was really afraid but you know what? I'm also excited by, as Smacks would call it, Renata Glask. I'm trying to be careful now with my wording because now you put me in a dangerous mindset, Josh.
I know.
But I think, you know, if you are Evil Geniuses Prodigies, you have to be in a dangerous mindset. Hashtag live evil. And you have to pull whatever tricks you can to upset No Team, as by seeding wise, No Team sees themselves as the stronger team matched up against Evil Geniuses Prodigies, but as Daption has already said, he believes that pound for pound, man by man individually, they're the stronger ones. And right now, you know, this core for Evil Geniuses Prodigies still has some flexibility in where they can mold the final product.
Yeah, and I really like what we're seeing currently coming out from the side of EGP, because if you're trying to say that you are the better individual team, these are champions that you can really look to do that with. They are champions that thrive in chaos and creating uncomfortable situations for the other team. And EG Prodigies, one of the things that was interesting about them was they actually played some of their early Proving Grounds games without having had a whole lot of scrim time going in. It was just a lot of raw talent that was able to really get them through a lot of, you know, between Proving Grounds qualifiers and the first round. And I think this is another team that could go a lot farther if they didn't match up against an Academy team in the first round.
It's an interesting discussion point, Josh, and to be honest, I don't know how much I can really push the envelope for, but for here, whether we can revisit that idea at this time, what matters now is Evil Geniuses Prodigies and No Team have one series left, and so they have to prove right now who is going to be the better team advancing on forward in the lower bracket.
Yeah, and also just a quick heads up, those might look like very odd second round bans coming through for EGP, but Dragoon is one of the few people who is like still willing to play Darius, right? We will see him bring it out all the time.
Yeah, he is known as the Drip Lord Darius himself, and that Shyvana is no stranger to Griffin. He's put in quite a few games on it, if you didn't see already from last week. But the Kane locked in for Perry, this is a comfort pick as far as I know for the jungler of Evil Geniuses Prodigies.
Yeah, I really like what we're seeing from EGP. If they think they're individually better, this is how you do it. You just create a lot of chaos. You look for opportunities to isolate people. You try and split up the map. You do not let the Renata Glask have the same kind of ability to control team fights, because you aren't necessarily going to be going for them. And so that puts a lot of pressure on Perry to try and find some of these early advantages. And going up against you know, the No Team squad, it is going to be something where he's going to be getting assassin stacks really quickly because of how many range champions there are.
They're hovering a lot of supports, and that has me really confused.
There's zero chance that Renata goes in India.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. They're trying to clown me. But Dragoon dipping into the pockets of like, all right, well, what counter picks do I have available? And I know that Dragoon, he's played other champions like the Gangplank of the Jax before, Mordekaiser as well. The Jax is the one that he settles on against, specifically the Tryndamere. However, we never said that the Tryndamere was going towards the top lane, Josh.
Yeah.
This could still be a mid lane Tryndamere for Leo.
Do you remember the fun fact for Leo that we had? He brings unusual champions into the mid lane like the Jays. Tryndamere is something that we saw hints of, right? We saw it a little bit at last year's Worlds. We saw it becoming a little bit more popular this year, especially into things like the Victor that can't punish it particularly hard. And now Leo says that he wants to play it into the Syndra. It's a little bit more difficult because Syndra just kind of dumps her mana bar into you, just constantly looking to go for these trades. And you can really outpace the sustain of Tryndamere early on. But Leo is, again, looking to find opportunities to be really aggressive with all this play and trying to find opportunities to just scale into the game and become this unstoppable monster. So I really like what we're seeing coming out from EGP. They're trying to create chaos throughout all these team fights, and it's going to be on No Team to make sure that there is control and order when the union completes.
Yeah, Leo not only looking to strike chaos into the hearts of No Team through the mid lane with the Swapperoo, but also striking chaos into my PTSD with seeing all the Tryndamere mids back during Worlds last year. That was... I'm not going to lie, Josh, because then I saw Tryndamere mids in solo queue all the time. That was awful. That was
the worst
awful.
thing.
Oh, God. I
Luckily,
was so glad that it moved towards the top lane. I was like, okay, I can at least ignore it for a little bit longer and still have mid prio. But no, this time around, Evil Genius's Prodigies. If this Tryndamere gets out of hand, Perry will have an all-you-can-eat buffet access pass to Griffin's jungle.
Yeah. And it becomes very difficult for Griffin to play, but Griffin is one of the strongest members coming out from No Team. Somebody that is still very young, looking to try and prove themselves across the Rift. And a good Proving Grounds performance here would really kind of start to cement his legacy as one of these amateur players that should be looking to get academy slots in the next, maybe even as soon as next split.
Who knows, Josh? I mean, anything can happen. We saw our first amateur team upset over an academy team just a while ago. And for No Team and Evil Genius's Prodigies, while it is a battle between two of the remaining teams from the amateur side of things in Proving Grounds, it is still a battle of endurance and seeing how much these players have been able to take throughout the spring split of 2022, can learn from it, can improve on it, and show up in what could be their last series in the Proving Grounds tournament.
And as they jump out onto the Rift, I am going to be paying a lot of attention to this mid lane, right? As always, we already set it up. These two players have very similar stories across the Rift, and this is Cheeky coming in from Perry. Nobody knows he's there. You might just be able to get a couple like extra free orbs at the beginning, but I don't think he'll get a whole lot more than that.
Hold up. Oh.
Holding?
Oh, the goons? Do they roll in the squad? Oh, Blaze is walking up. Oh. Hold up. Leo says, hello, Blaze. What's up? Perry gonna get a lot of damage onto Blaze. He will hold his cool and not pop summoner spells, but as you said, that is a slightly faster transformation time for Mr. Kane.
Yeah. And one of the things, one of the things that we are going to have to watch is how Perry ends up going for a lot of the upcoming pathing, right? One of the things that we all know is that Perry can choose to start on these Raptors in order to clear out his jungle a little bit faster. If you start with the small camps instead of the actual buffs, you will cycle them faster and you can clear much more quickly than a lot of other junglers. And Kane, you know, is kind of like 2/3 of a champion before they actually get the transformation. But if you actually can power farm and then use the extra time to start looking for the transformation, it can become scary very quickly.
And with First Strike, I imagine this is going to be the Blue Shadow Kane. Full-on damage, full-on assassin mode. And because No Team doesn't have any true tanks, they are all completely viable to getting one shot, or at least 3/4 of their health completely demolished in an instant.
Yeah, and whenever there's a blue Kane on the map, you know, it creates that chaos. It creates situations where he was always hunting isolated members. And we saw a little bit of this during the regular season for Academy. I know Perry's been playing it a lot, but I remember seeing Kenvi try and make it work.
Thieves,
yeah, looking for opportunities to isolate individual members, pull the one gazelle off of the rest of the herd. And that is the opportunity that Perry is going to be looking for. And as I said, it's on No Team to try and stay on top of each other. They're trying to create this death ball that is very difficult for EGP to get to. But the one issue that they might have is they don't have a lot of engage. It's really hard to get on top of his area with this composition.
Yeah, the options are a pick. It really, that's all it is. You're hoping that you'll catch Sketch en route to an objective somewhere, and that Blaze is just, you know, twiddling his fingers, waiting for the right moment to strike with a Scatter the Weak stun. Because no one else really has long-range engage or stuns. Like, Dragoon would have to, like, leap strike forward and find a counter-strike stun, or Griffin has to flash forward with the root. So, like, Evil Genius's Prodigies have a lot of range to play with, and if they're the ones that are ahead, you're right, Josh. I mean, No Team have really no reliable way of locking down a lot of these players.
Yeah. So while we kind of look at that, I kind of want to talk about Daption a little bit more. Because one, I love the guy. He is super adorable, potentially the most adorable player that we have in all of Proving Grounds, right? But he's also a player that we've seen have a lot of opportunity. He was actually on Evil. He's actually been on a lot of these different amateur teams in the past, and now that he's on Evil Genius Prodigies, yeah, wildcard during their big run when they still had Arrow and Bradley on it. And now that he is on Evil Genius's Prodigies, he's been looking for opportunities to expand his champion pool. He said earlier that he used to be a Lulu one-trick in particular before he started trying to go pro, and he's been trying to find more opportunities to play a lot of these engaged champions and bring it up to the level of what he was doing on Enchantress before.
I do want to just make sure that everyone is well aware at home. We are having some player internet difficulties at the moment, so we're just waiting for the internet on their end to stabilize before we can get back into the game. Hey, man.
I thought we were podcasting.
The podcasting can come once we explain why we're not back in game yet. You know, sometimes, you know, the people be wondering, it's like, hey, are we in game yet? It's like, no, we are currently on a pause, you know, and we will get back into game as soon as possible once the players have been able to reconnect and they are not experiencing any lag issues. So
we're not podcasting, we're pausecasting.
Oh my God, genius. Wait, that is the new meaning for podcasting now.
There you go.
Vamping over time while a pause is in occurrence. Though, well, hopefully we will get if there's an ETA that we know, we will let you know as soon as possible, Chad. We are kind of in the dark on this one until the players are able to give us more information.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, we talked a little bit about Daption. We talked a little bit about the mid lane. The other player that I'm kind of, or the player in particular that I'm excited that we haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about is Faisal. Right, a player in the top lane coming out for Evil Genius's Prodigies, and he's a player that we've been seeing a lot more of. And some people are starting to ask, like, why isn't this guy having an opportunity to play in Academy? Because he's been one of the more dominant laners that we've seen. He's been able to find a lot of individual advantages there, but he's also able to translate it later on into the game. He's kind of been, in many ways, I feel like he is the closest thing we have to the full package here in Amateur. A lot of people look at Sniper as, you know, the best top laner, but he doesn't necessarily have the same kind of laning that Faisal does most of the time.
The other thing, too, about Faisal is he has been someone who, like Leo, a lot of people have been saying, like, by word of mouth, like, yo, I know you're really interested in some of these other top laner guys that are getting their shot, but you got to be looking at Faisal, man. He is someone that is being slept on right now. During the spring team, I don't remember him being on any of the major teams that made it to Proving Grounds, but second time around in summer, he found his way onto AoE Esports, and he had his first Proving Grounds appearance with them. I think they finished, between 9th and 12th. So not a bad run for Faisal here, and for Evil Genius's Prodigy. So Faisal is still building upon, you know, the development and the growth that he's had over the course of last year.
I can't believe you would skip over the fact that he used to play for AoE Will's Kittens. The most important team. I don't even know if they competed with that roster, but hey. The other thing I can't believe that we haven't talked about is, you know how, like, when teams are, like, readying up at the beginning?
Yeah.
You're supposed to put, like, your team code, right? And it is very goddamn confusing when no team says, not R.
And you're like, so are you not ready? I'm like, no. Yes.
We are ready.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're doing it. They are very aware of the troll that they are having on a lot of people, and it's one of those, like, definitely not Blitzcrank kind of thing. So, the big thing that we will notice is that Leo does have control of the wave starting from level 1, and I believe Blaze might have missed the first melee, which means that Leo gets level 2 faster than Blaze, and that could be a pretty big sticking point for the rest of this lane, because there's not that much health going to be coming through from Blaze. He's only got the 2 health potions. He's not choosing to go with the corrupting in order to make sure that he can sustain it out.
And for these 2 players, I want to see how well they're able to push the limits throughout the mid game, because I think that's where we're going to see where they can really come into their own and dictate how the game pace is made. And especially when looking on the side of Evil Geniuses, Now Perry is really hoping that Leo doesn't necessarily need that much help, or can, you know, get Leo to manipulate Blaze into being slightly overextended and come back for some more, you know, blue cane orbs and further the transformation cycle.
Yeah. I also want to just see like how well Leo is going to be able to navigate this, because it is the kind of thing where, as a player who plays a lot of more unusual picks, Tryndamere definitely has a lot of tools, and you can very easily like talk to your top players like, hey, how do I play this if you were to play up against a mage? And it's one of the few champions that is actually shared. And so I'm curious like what kind of communication goes on between Faisal and Leo when they're not on the Rift.
Maybe they hash it out in 1v1s. You know, they're just like, oh, you want to know? Let's find out.
Yeah.
But if they're in game, it's like, you just got to bet.
Yeah.
Now, Perry, you know, playing a dangerous game, trying to do both of these camps at the same time on top of Ward, but Daption rotating on over, making sure that his jungler is well protected, and Griffin does not go for the cheeky invade. And the full clear is successful for Perry, undeterred. So he gets to... That's usually one of the scariest moments for Kayn, is like, do you get stopped on the first full clear? And because he doesn't, he's going to be just fine for most of the game.
Yeah, it should be totally all right. Now, for anybody who is also watching, you might look at... Oh, Sketch.
Hold up, scooped. Daption and Sketch trying to find the 2v2 solo kill onto the AD carry for No Team, and they might just be able to do it. One more burst fire, Sketch! That's Brady, ladies and gentlemen. He is welcome and is ready to stay and make his claim on Proving Grounds.
There you go. Very cool. First blood coming through from Sketch and Daption. This was one of those places where I was a little bit thinking that Scooped and Jishuka might be a bit of a better bottom lane, but very quickly Sketch and Daption are able to find that window in order to create a lot of opportunities to attack. And again, I kind of want to point out, Scooped has been Scooped for a while, but Jishuka is a player that other people might recognize, not as Jishuka, but as Plux, who has actually had a bit longer of a history in the area. He's been playing with TVA and Revival in particular during 2021, where he played with them for about half a year and looked pretty decent overall on the team with his ability to just consistently find solid placements in a lot of the qualifiers leading up to Proving Grounds.
Also found his way to Scouting Grounds in 2020 for Team Mountain just through the solo queue ladder as well. So wasn't one of the players that got through thanks to Scouting Ground circuit points, but just, you know, pure ladder climate, baby.
Yeah. And so it means that just like Scooped and Jishuka, like they've been playing together for quite a while, right? They played with each other on Revival. They're now playing together on No Team. So you can kind of expect that the synergy between these two players might be a little better. And that might be a bit of what Daption was talking about, right? When he was saying that No Team had figured out their combination a bit faster than the EGP has.
Well, right now, Evil Genius's Prodigies with the first blood and first strike overall against No Team. And if you're able to get through what Daption might have called the team synergy difference, if Evil Genius's Prodigies are locking it down together in this series, that matters most when it comes to, you know, keeping their tournament lives alive. Oh, hold up. Daption looks for Jishuka, knowing that he doesn't have flash from before. Griffin is here for the flank, but it is Perry that is also here. However, that's a lot of damage. Jishuka trying to stay alive thanks to the W, but still will go down. But it's the bailout alongside the damage from Griffin that takes out Perry in the trade for the 1v1. Daption's able to get out alive, but Sketch's sub 400 HP should not be enough that Griffin actually wants to dive this. He's going to go all for it. He doesn't have the Heartbreaker yet. He's on level 6. Daption doing everything he can to protect his AD carry from certain death. They go for the dive, but Sketch holds strong with Daption. Gets traded by Scooped, but then in the end, Daption stands tall.
That was a bit of a head scratcher, honestly, coming through. I feel like Griffin definitely missed a couple of the beats during that last play, and continuing to try and go for after giving over so much. I feel like this is a situation where EGP are just kind of individually outplaying a lot of their members, and And I really want to pay attention to how much better the trigger pull was here for EGP. They just jump on Jishuka and then try and leave, where it took Griffin a little bit longer to actually jump in and find that first kill, ending up leading to Jishuka not being able to revive. And then after that, this is the kind of play where you need to be able to clear out things very, very quickly and then immediately look for the play, but they try and slow play it, right? They aren't sure who they're hitting, and EGP are just like, well, we are fighting or dying. We need to make sure that we are here the entire time, and it makes EGP's job so much easier during that skirmish.
You don't have time to decide or pick and choose your battles if the other opponent is like, okay, well, while you're figuring out which one of us you're going to kill, we're going to start putting some damage out, and then you start equalizing the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I know as somebody who has played enough 5s, that's the kind of thing where afterwards, people will be like, okay, well, next time let's call targets. Next time let's know exactly what we're going to do, because I feel like EGP are very happy with that turn of events. But also, props to Dragoon up here in the top lane doing a pretty good job at pushing Faisal around, just building up a solo advantage without any attention from either side of the map.
So far, you know, as the Jax, the late game fantasy is to get the 2-3 items and just start split pushing your way to the victory and opening the gates. Scooped and Jishuka once again getting aggressive on Adaption and Sketch, but Sketch is the one that is answering back and forth. Remember, this is a 4-kill Zeri.
Yeah.
Earned up a lot of gold. Yes, down 20 CS, but the kills help make up for the gold difference.
Yeah. Also remember that this was a character that we said had set up at the very beginning. It's difficult for no team to deal with the Zeri, right? They don't have easy ways to get to them. And suddenly when Sketch has so much extra damage, is so strong right out the gate, they're going to be looking a whole lot better. And the other thing I kind of want to point out is how much time people have actually been spending in the bottom lane. The answer is really not that much. Jishuka and Daption have both roamed mid lane over and over because they're constantly matching. It means that there's not been a whole lot of play there, but it does mean that Leo's not able to go as aggressive onto Blaze as he would have otherwise liked to.
But Leo has been able to survive past the first few levels of the game where, you know, Blaze maybe could have been pushing Leo around, but now that he has Undying Rage available, I imagine this is a time now where Blaze has to be careful about how far he steps forward, because yes, it's the mid lane, but we have seen players like Copy go past 3 turrets just chasing down a target when he feels like there's nothing that is going to stop or punish him.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, we've seen how crazy it can be. Copy dove 3 turrets as the Tryndamere, and it was very funny. But the rest of the time, you just are able to create a lot of pressure because you out-sustain your opponents. We're seeing a little bit of that right now, right? Just that max range crit, Leo and Blaze trading damage back and forth, and Leo's like, haha, no you didn't. I'm good. And now he gets to move around the rest of the map and try and create some pressure, right? He can go do this rift, or the scuttle, he can go top lane, he can go bottom lane, he can just hide out and start taking away jungle camps from Griffin. And that's one of the big things that Leo is good at, is just being super, super adaptable with playing all kinds of weird picks and just saying, yeah, I'm looking to play the map. I'm not necessarily always looking to be super strong on this individual character. I just want to out-rotate you.
For Perry on this Kayn, he's been living the farming dream right now. At some point, he does have to pick up some more orbs to accelerate the transformation stage, but because he's taking a more feast or famine style with the blue Shadow Kayn as he's optimizing the full lethality and the eventual Muramana, and you can kind of take your time on how much fighting you're getting on into the early game, because then if you hit your power spikes on time, oh, you are to be pumping out some major damage in the mid game, Josh.
Some movement, some schmammage all over the place, and
schmammage. That's a
don't ever. One. I'm not gonna say that one ever again. I retract
really?
it.
I like
schmammage. I don't know. It's got some weird like bio sound to it. Right.
You know, it's because it's like sandwich, and so it's like you smush the sandwich, and it's not necessarily, you know, all that pleasant.
Yeah, moving on. I don't think that improved my opinion of the word that you just used, but
it's okay, Josh. We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. And so are the teams, hopefully. I actually don't know. I imagine they are all enjoying their time on League of Legends, but the big thing is, as this game kind of stalls out, I feel like it gets better for EGP at first, and then eventually it gets better for no team. Because the Jax becomes so difficult for this team to deal with, because you have a bunch of auto attackers who can't do a whole lot of damage to him, and of course he just naturally scales into the game. So as long as Dragoon isn't behind, and as long as the rest of the map remains rather steady after giving 4 kills over to Sketch, no team are happy to kind of find some early advantages here and then back up afterwards. But Daption's top lane.
Yo, Solar Flare right on top of Dragoon. He definitely wasn't expecting that one. He still has the flash, so dodging out on the explosive cask. Dragoon, does he survive this one? The flash away, but there is still a barrel from Faisal to claim the kill.
I respect the idea, but at the same time, Daption spending time up in top lane is giving an opportunity here for no team to crash into 2 turrets. And Perry looking for Blaze?
Okay, and Perry can dodge out on any damage thanks to the Umbral Trespass. Unleash Power comes out, and it's not enough. Perry's so close from Blaze, but Perry's the one that is triumphant.
Perry was in that dude's head, man. He got everything he possibly wanted, and now he's going to be escaping into the mid lane as well. Yes, no team's play was going to be a little bit better for them across the map. They get 2 turrets bottom lane and really equalize a lot of the goalie lead. But Perry, the mechanics on that were sick.
Now Perry is so accelerated, Josh, too. The Prowess Claw has already been completed. He's going to yoink the blue buff away as well. You know, yes, Evil Geniuses have lost 2 towers on the bottom side of the map, but look at the amount of gold that they have accelerated into the right carries as well.
Yeah, I mean, Perry finding that solo kill, Sketch finding the 4 kills so far just means that they should be very confident going into this mid game, right? Before Jax is fully online, before the Zarya is completely untouchable at range, and while Perry is going to be so strong coming into a lot of his power spikes, EGP should be very aggressive when it comes to playing for this dragon.
And Perry has officially transformed. Blue Kane is here, Josh. And Daption is now given the same treatment he gave over to Dragoon onto Blaze, Solar Flare. It's all you need to set up Sketch for success here. The turret plates not going to be all fully completed here, but it's enough gold to now allow Sketch to be off to the races. Perry, and 1v2, okay, dodging out on the handshake. Can he get away from Griffin? Heartbreaker still available. Perry still has flash. Heartbreaker comes out, and he is able to dodge out with the flash away, and now reinforcements have come around. And Jashuka finds himself in the midst of 3 people against EGP throughout the ultimate, but it didn't do enough to force Sketch and Daption to knock each other out. They're still going on to Griffin. Perry's onto the backline. Umbral Trespass onto Griffin, but it's not enough damage. Griffin looking for the Heartbreaker. Now he's the king. Griffin's the one that's turning around. Leo with the Undying Rage can't do enough damage. Griffin comes up huge.
Oh my god, Griffin turning things around. Both junglers popping off in different points in this game. But the fact that Griffin had the entire thing and came back to full HP all at the end of it is absolutely nuts. We were saying that EGP were looking individually better, but Griffin is trying to turn that all around all by himself just because, again, he wins the duel to start this off. But the bigger thing is that EGP, we're just picking off members one by one, right? Jashuka gets run down, and Griffin stays in the fight because he knows that if he gets this reset onto Daption, he pops out with a Shield of Daybreak. He is incredibly tanky, and he dodges out from so much damage. Look how little damage he takes, and just able to find the last reset, runs over the rest of the team, and holy moly, Griffin's just resilience in this game is absolutely spectacular.
Many junglers would have looked at that situation and probably gone, okay, this is a losing situation. I couldn't get Perry. But Griffin says, no, Scoop, we got this. We turned this around. And they identified the targets so accurately, as you already pointed out, Josh. It's just, this means that we definitely have a game 1 on our hands where it seemed like everything was going super well. I know, it's the trademark. I didn't say we have a series on our hands. I didn't go that far.
No, you just did.
Okay. You forced it out of me, damn it.
Scoop.
And now Daption wants to lock down Scoop. Says, all right, this time there is no Viego here to protect you, son. And Perry with the Prowler's Claw, slip and slide right through Jashuka. Bailout is only going to delay the inevitable. A double goes over to Sketch.
I really like the fact that even at the end of that, Perry is like, well, there's probably a reason Jashuka is taking me over to this side of the map, so I'm going to go to the other one, and instantly exits towards the bottom side of the map. So, I mean, just small heads-up plays like that are really cool to watch, but it is a lot of kills going in favor of EGP, and now Sketch, 7 kills as the Zeri. Normally, Zeri's not supposed to have a super exciting early game, but it really comes alive once you finish the Trinity Force, once you finish what looks to be the Titanic Hydra coming up next. They have a lot of ability to move around the map, and you actually start pumping out damage. And you really are happy to take these really long fights. So as long as Griffin isn't constantly resetting and creating new health bars that Sketch has to deal with, EGP are going to be in a very dominant position. So I can't wait to see what Sketch does with this. He's not always the most aggressive player, but when you give him this much gold and this much agency, I think we can see that change up a bit.
No, I was muted. I was... Damn it. I made some side jokes. I was like, wow, you really ignored them? And then I muted myself. It's okay.
Not bad.
No,
Not
no,
bad.
no, no.
I
No.
can't respond to your jokes if I can't hear you.
Yeah, correct. You know what? Maybe it was the best. And we didn't hear them. They weren't that good anyway.
Wait, was it muted just for me, or was it muted for the stream? Because that would be very awkward sounding.
No. It was muted to everyone. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. If you missed out, everyone missed out. Or
All right.
if you were blessed to not hear them, then everyone else was blessed to not hear it. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. We will never know. But look at this. Blaze will never know life. Just kidding. He's going to be A-okay because he has so many friends around. I love friends.
Me too. Friends are nice. And Daption... Whoa, where did that solo player go? I guess Scoop was able to dodge out on it anyway. The ultimate from Jashuka trying to turn all the friends against each other, but they dodge out on it beautifully. Parry with the Umbral Trespass, dodging out damage before the Heartbreaker takes him down. Dragoon flash... Going forward, it's the explosive cast that propels him back. Looking for an opportunity. Sketch, lightning crash, gets the movement speed, but he gets locked down. And we talked about how hard it would be able to lock down Azeri, but a nice scatter the weak stun from Blaze. Finds the mark, opens up the map, and this Rift Herald play will be huge for No Team.
This is 4 turrets that are going to be getting picked up by No Team, right? They did it with, they got 2 turrets with the Rift Herald bottom lane. Now they're going to get 2 turrets mid lane, maybe even a third. 5 effective turrets they get from Rift Herald plays, and that is so much gold coming through for their side. We were saying that EGP might be individually better, but No Team are setting up much better. They are consistently getting their side lanes. They are taking the maximum through everything, and ultimately this play coming through from the side of No Team is just really impressive, because once Parry overextends, watch the Dragoon doesn't go back in for the fight. He actually just backs up and waits for the rest of EGP to kind of overextend, and it only takes a little while longer for Sketch to get to a spot where he doesn't have the support of his team. They aren't quite on the same page, whereas No Team are looking much more coordinated after a bit of a botch early game.
The gold lead is also pretty much even for both of these teams, and you are really looking at Griffin and Scoop right now, who are not only leading in terms of overall gold, but kills as well. The resources, it's 3 items for Scoop on the Xayah. And I know you say that you're not a fan of the lethality 80 carries because it's mostly ability damage.
It's just boring.
Hey man, as Scoop doesn't care if it's boring or not. He cares about winning. And winning might just be what they will do.
True. Well, they're going to get this Dragon. They're going to continue scaling through, and if they get past this mid game and allow Dragoon to really take over, it's going to be a much different game. Because so far, Dragoon is slightly behind Faisal, which is kind of to be expected. Gragas does have a pretty strong early mid game. But Dragoon, he's scaling. He's got that Trinity Force going up. He's 0-1-0, unfortunately, but so far, he's been doing A-okay so far in the rest of the game, and he can split against the Tryndamere. He'll be able to split against the Gragas later on. They just need to find their opportunity to get him a bit more farm, get him a couple more items, and eventually they will take control. But notice that No Team are already also taking control of a lot more of the jungle, right? They're trying to push up in groups a little bit more effectively than EGP. EGP have been doing it as individuals most of the time.
Yeah, just learning from their previous encounter in the upper bracket
of the third kind.
Of the third kind. What would the third kind be? Is that...
Oh, it's extraterrestrials encounters of the third kind. I think that's like seeing signs of extraterrestrials, but it's okay. Have you not heard that phrase before? Encounters of the third kind? It's a very famous movie.
I don't believe so. But that feels really weird, because it's like, I actually love movies a lot, and I know a lot of like old movies like Citizen Kane. So I feel like that would be one of those things.
We'll get back to that. This is a good setup from EGP in order to try and take control And we'll get back to these retro movies at some point, because it feels like EGP consistently are trying to move to, yes, I did, are trying to move together in order to like take down this mid lane turret after losing all of their outer and inner turrets on the bottom side of the map. But they haven't been able to do so. They haven't been able to group up at the right time. They're not getting their side lanes pushed as effectively as no team has. And that's a big reason why every time we see a fight that even if it goes in EGP's favor, no team is still one step ahead. And I'm not sure who the shot caller is, but I want to give them a lot of credit for their ability to manage these side waves and make sure that people are in the right lane assignments.
I don't know if you can hear Josh, but there's a huge thunderstorm brewing outside of where I live. And I feel like it is very resemblant of the game that we're having right now. There's a lot of tension. The gold lead is still not really in any team's strong favor. It is anyone's game still at this point. Evil Geniuses are the ones that want to pull the trigger. Umbral trespass onto Griffin. They put all the damage down, and the bailout does not come through. Jajuka cannot save Griffin in time. Leo still has in the undying range. A beautiful explosive cast from Faisal will propel all the juicy targets of no team right back into Leo's waiting arms. A triple kill is awarded to him, and Prodigies will be looking to the Baron.
Faisal with a huge barrel, and suddenly we were just praising no team for their ability to do their lane management a little bit better, but that was a 4v5 coming through for EGP. There is no Zeri this entire time in EGP. I mean, Perry's ability to navigate these team fights and kind of plan out and outplay a lot of his opponent's buttons is honestly kind of crazy. His ability to dodge out in the Heartbreaker that time, deny the resets coming through for Griffin, was absolutely instrumental. And of course, you know, we can't forget Faisal, who just finally has kind of joined the rest of the team and is starting to look like a bit of a beast. But oh my gosh, the game was even. The game was starting to turn towards no team, and suddenly EGP are right back in the driver's seat.
And the confidence comes through for Perry and Leo once again, as they are the ones that have to lead the charge and buy the time necessary for the rest of the Prodigy reinforcements to come through and scatter the remaining members. And now it's a 5,000 gold lead that was once dead even. Uh-oh, Daption.
Yep.
You have
Daption.
the burn flash. You have the burn flash. It might be too late.
Oh.
Flashing over the wall. Heartbreaker from Griffin. Not enough damage, though. And now Griffin is on the other side of the tracks. Faisal with the quick punish. Does he get enough damage down? But the bailout from Griffin gives him another chance at life, but not before he goes down once again. Perry finds Blaze and will also find Scooped alongside Sketch. It seemed like a turnaround for no team, but EGP are the ones quick to punish.
Damage just not there coming out for no team, and Perry once again, Faisal once again finding these crazy plays on the side, taking down so many members and rewarding their team with so much pressure on the map, right? Just watch how much they try and dump down into Daption, but the thing is, they hold enough. Blaze doesn't commit the ultimate. Griffin uses the ultimate a little bit late, and by the time they actually are able to take down Daption, enough people have come back. And Faisal, again, with a big ult, separates two members, gets both major damage carries down from the side of no team. And his ability to lock down members and split up fights and control them with the barrels is insane. That ability is not easy to hit.
Yeah, and it's no hesitation either. As soon as Faisal was in range and saw the moment, there was absolutely no time wasted in that moment. Immediate body slam flash lands the critical target into the remaining members of EGP for the cleanup. And now they are looking at the next dragon on the table. It does not put any team into getting soul, but no team, if they secure this, it would be soul point. Perry has been pushed off the dragon. They're burning it down quickly. Dragoon with the counter-strike trying to threaten an Umbral trespass. Can he get it out?
He gets
no
it!
way! Perry is able to seal the dragon, going invulnerable inside the body of Dragoon, using him as just a caravan and being able to just walk his way to victory. They have lost out on Leo, but there's so many low HP members. Faisal with the explosive cast. He wants to set up Perry for success. There's so many stragglers. All of them could go down to just a barrel or maybe more damage. And Perry is cutting off their escape route. They're herding sheep like lambs to a slaughter. They're just walking them down before the axe can come in. And the carnage is there from EGP. Perry will go down for his efforts, but two more fall from no team.
God, it's like watching vultures, Mark, all over the place. They're just like, when are you gonna die? When are you gonna die? Trying to find it over and over, but props to Perry, man. He plays this really well. Going in and getting this smite down after so much damage comes through just means that there is so much left for EGP to actually do afterwards. And the biggest thing is Leo, even though he dies, does so much damage all on his own that it creates enough space. And look at this. This is what we're talking about when EGP are individually talented. They're all individually waiting, trying to make these plays by themselves. And eventually, when they find the right moment, they go in and strike. And it is so close to a total wipe and potentially a game-ending play.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how well EGP are playing? Because we didn't, once again, we didn't get a... Damn it, we didn't do our predictions at the top of the series because I wanted to have an unbiased opinion. So my prediction was 2-1 for no team against EGP. I don't know what you had.
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I had no team 2-1 as well.
So this game 1 and the performance that EGP are displaying right now is so damn impressive considering that the team that they are playing against. Because when you looked at no team's just previous track record and their dominance during the amateur circuits, on EGP, this looks like a well more coordinated team. Oh man, this is absolutely huge.
We'll see if they can actually close it out. Remember, as this game goes longer and longer, Syndra becomes a huge threat every time they're in Fog of War, just because they will eventually get to their items. Also, Dragoon is going to get to a spot where he is very, very difficult for the members of EGP to deal with. And EGP can't really split push nearly as effectively anymore, right? There's no turrets outside of the base that are still standing. There's nothing that is easy for them to just kind of pick up off on the sides. And so as Evil Genius's Prodigies look for opportunities to try and find their way into the base, a lot of it's going to come down to pulling no team out of the base. They're going to be having to use parry, looking for the blood in the water, trying to find individual members. And this is where no team needs to be very coordinated.
Moment of reprieve for no team. It seems like for the past 10 minutes, EGP had just been making move after move, whether punishing an overextension from no team or punishing an overaggression from trying to pick out a straggler from the Prodigies and turning around in their favor. No team have been able to recollect some of these minion waves, but the control is still not in their hands. It is EGP that have entrances marked out here.
Man, that felt like a lot less damage than I was expecting it to be from Perry, but I guess a big part of it was the Guardian eating up quite a bit, and of course the Guardian Angel giving them the extra armor to play with. But this is where EGP are going to be looking to create pressure, right? They actually do this relatively quickly with the Tryndamere on the side. Faisal can kind of hang out and just prevent anybody from walking in, but they're giving up the chokes. This is them indicating that they're looking to burn, but Perry instantly goes over the side and Sketch.
Okay, engaged from Daption, goes over into the left side of the flank. Perry finds Blaze into the backline, separates him from the rest of no team, but no team now fighting forward, looking for Sketch. He goes golden, goes down to Scooped. Can Perry reset? He can't! It's no team that will prevail, and now Faisal's the one that's on the run. The rest of no team still have to recuperate. They're down to support and down to mid laner. They're looking for Leo. Leo is trying to get the hell out of there. And it looks like no team will not have enough members to take the Baron out. Oh, hold up. Faisal doing a lot of damage against Griffin, even though he is in parry form. Looking for another reset on the Leo. But Leo gets the last bit of damage down and flashes away.
Good stuff coming out from Leo at the very end, but we gotta say, we're looking at Sketch so much. How well can he actually navigate these team fights? And going too far forward once again ends up giving an opportunity for no team to win this. Just look at where he puts himself and just gets hit by enough crowd control at the very end that people can just kind of jump on top of him. He walks too far forward because EGP walk into the enemy jungle. They walk into the enemy choke point, and that's where Renata Glass shines. So it's definitely a situation where it feels like no team are still doing a better job by and large setting up for these fights, going into all these choke points and forcing EGP to play on no team's terms. And if that continues, even with this gold lead, EGP are not yet in a firm position where they have already won the game. They still haven't broken the base, and as long as that's intact, no team is a threat.
When the battle lines are set up, Josh, it seems like the team that over-aggresses is the one that gets punished. Because you look at so many tools on both sides that can handle the engage and the threats that are coming in with powerful disengage tools. As you noted, the hostile takeover from Jashuka made Faisal and Daption's engage really diminished, as they couldn't really follow up with the rest of their abilities, and Sketch didn't get to follow through on the primary initiation. So now they have to face against No Team, who are all in this pit. But Faisal, that explosive cast is looking juicy. Solar Flare right into the back line. Just put down. Blaze gets exploded. Griffin secures the Baron and the objective bounty. But can he clean up the rest of the fight? I don't think so. It is Evil Genius's Prodigies that wipe all of them out.
That's 5 men dead for 40 seconds. That's going to be probably the game mark. Everybody on EGP finally able to stay alive all at the same time. They already get the waves pushing, and a play called from No Team ends up being potentially their downfall. Everybody on EGP is here. They still have 20 seconds before even Jashuka is back alive. They bite off more than they can chew, and EGP, they've been ahead for so much of this game, but they finally find the straw that breaks the camel's back.
It was looking pretty dicey after the second Baron fight, but the final Baron fight, No Team are the one that are punished. EGP will take the first strike in this series and claim game 1.
There you go. I feel like Faisal had such a big part of this game, right?
Huge.
Despite the fact that he was pretty quiet early on, 3 consecutive explosive cask, basically determining fights, and the last one, I'm pretty sure it just instantly kills Blaze, and with Syndra dead, there's not enough damage left to go around. Sketch gets to free hit, Leo gets to free hit, and from that position, there's no way that No Team can ever win.
Yeah, Faisal was giving me flashbacks of Season 3 AP Gragas, if you remember back from those days where you were just a AP AP barrel sniper. You just chuck your Q and R, and then you're like, oh, look at that. 80% of their health is gone. Yeah. It's just completely nuked.
Did you notice they had a Rabadons at the end of the game?
He was boasting that cap, dude. You know, no cap.
Feeling pretty darn good overall for the side of Faisal. I feel like, despite the fact that so much money was given over to Sketch early on, I still feel like our heroes were parrying Faisal that game. There's a couple of players who really just like stood up and constantly put pressure on No Team and trying to force errors, and eventually they found the ones they needed.
Overall, the entire EGP roster had a massive level up. There's so many clutch initiations from Daption, the solar flares locking down key targets so that everyone could follow up. Sketch and Leo outputted a lot of damage and played, for the majority of the part, those team fights well, as either trying to dive through the front line and onto the back lines, or, you know, just trying to kite to safety. But I definitely agree with you. For Perry and Faisal, this was a huge opening game, and for EGP to set the tone off in their favor and the momentum on their side, they are now 1 game away from not only advancing in the lower bracket, but also knocking out No Team, a team that a lot of people from the amateur side were expecting to be one of the big dark horses in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, they were the team that won the most recent qualifier in order to get here, right? They were on a hot streak at the very end. They took down Maryville, who beat 100 Thieves next, the team that is currently the #1 seed for the amateur side of the bracket. And if No Team were to fall down right now, it would be 2 pretty darn large upsets in the first round of the lower bracket. And I don't know if my heart's ready for that, Mark.
Well, you better have a cardiologist on standby just in case, Josh. But for us, we're going to be taking a quick break and giving Josh's heart a quick rest. When we come back, is our post-game halftime show with Mazel and the continuation of this series.